good. I had to start the sound over again because of the um because of the mic. I had to adjust it. Something is going on with this headset here. I know no one is here. This is impromptu. It was not scheduled. However, earlier today in my Saturday morning coffee with Breezy, I did share that I would be back on later on to do the Real Housewives of New York. So here I am, and I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. And hope someone shows up. If not, then you can catch me in the replay on this. I'm trying some new things with the live stream. I am about to upgrade my live stream. I'm sorry, I'm trying some new things with my live stream on StreamYard. And I do plan to upgrade it because when I upgrade it, I'll be able to use my own logo instead of theirs. So let's go on and talk about it. Real Housewives of New York. There's a lot to talk about, you guys. I actually enjoyed this show. As you know, the Real Housewives franchises, they do name their shows. So this one is called Baby, It's Cold Inside. Okay. And when you see what goes down, you'll know why it's cold inside. This is season 13, episode 12. For those of you who do not watch the Real Housewives franchises, I hope that my commentary is enough to get you to start watching it. I really don't have a lot of viewers over here. That concerns me. It concerns me a lot about what's going on with my channel and Google, but I digress. It really does concern me because a lot of it just seems unfair. Even my numbers have not changed. I should be well over 1,000 subscribers right now, and that's being halted. So I may have to create some things, within my own little technology world and try to gain viewers that way instead of YouTube. So, and gain advertisers because I worked in marketing for many years. So I know how to go out and get an advertiser to spend 50 grand a month. So, hey. Um, so I want to go on and say that I think that Ramona should have tried to save her marriage with her husband. I forgot his name. Is it Mario? I cannot recall his name. I don't know what happened to them really. I think he was cheating or something was going on. I do believe Ramona would be happier if she had saved her marriage because she seems like she's searching, always searching for something special. And I don't think she's going to get what she had with Mario. Um, and men, even married men, they go through a phase where um, it's really the wife that keeps the marriage together, I believe. I really do believe it's really the wife who keeps the marriage together and not the husband, but I digress. Um, we learned that Eboni is 37 years old. Okay, so the scene it starts with LuAnn's apartment in the sky. I really like her apartment. She has a great view. It is an amazing view, and I tried to capture some of the scenes on the video as I was looking at it for the third time, looking at the show for the third time, and it, I guess the copyright is really strong because I could not capture at least even a picture of the scene there. And I tried to do the same thing with Ramona's party, which was outstanding. That view was just amazing. So Ramona enters LuAnn's apartment and they talk about her birthday because LuAnn is planning a birthday party for her. She has a little cake with fruit on it and they sit there and they eat the cake and they talk about the party and how it's going to go. Ramona blows out the candle as they're discussing the birthday and it's just a really quaint scene. Next they show Eboni and Sonia at the gym. And you guys, I think Eboni is really good for Sonia and this is why. Um Sonia is quite insecure as you can tell. And we later learn that she has had a background that has brought on that insecurity. She's really kind of she's she's insecure, she's funny, yet she just has a lot of things about her where I think Ebony sees that she can really help her. And that's what we as women do. I really applaud Ebony for doing this because she sees that she can be of great assistance for Sonya. And that's what she does. She reaches out and she's always there encouraging her and lifting her up as a woman. And whenever you hear women say, I'm here for other women, and they're just saying it with their words, but you don't see it, that's all it is. With Ebony, she says it with her words and she is actually demonstrating it here. So, kudos to Ebony for that. We learn in this same scene that Sonya's dad was in a very bad automobile accident, which took his life. And we learn that she has an issue with sadness of death for her dad and her brother. Now, I do not agree with seances and stuff like that because I know for a fact, according to my Bible, according to the Holy Bible, that um, when people die, they don't come back alive. There is no um, what do you call it? Those seance people, sorcerers, and all those people, they cannot bring people back alive. Only God can do that. People who are dead, they're dead. They're not in heaven. They are dead. That's according to the Bible. And they are there until Christ returns at the right hand of God to bring them back. I digress. Okay. However, because I am doing this commentary, I'm going to share with you that Sonia is um, involved in, I guess, whatever they were doing in their last scene with some sorcerer or whatever. And that's what she's talking about when she says that she saw her brother or her dad or someone there. Um, and she said that she learned in that little event that they had that she has not been able to process the death of her brother. And so that's, sometimes whenever people die whenever we have people in our families or friends die, even the way that we process it is very different. I had one friend who passed away back in 2009, and it was so shocking to me that I couldn't process her death. It was just so shocking. She died at the hands of plastic surgery. And so that was different for me. However, a couple of years later, when I was back in North Carolina and I was visiting my family, I began to reminisce about how she would come to see me when I was visiting, and we would go visit old friends. And so I began to reminisce. And so it was at that time that I really began to sob about her death, like 2 years later, you guys. So Sonia was, you know, talking about her own mourning process, and I was just saying that sometimes it is delayed. Um, Sonia's dad has really affected her, so it's important for her to know that who he was is not necessarily who she has to be. And this is why I love the trainer, because the trainer communicated that so effectively to her to let her know that. And she repeated it back to him like, that's right. I don't have to be him. I can be me. And so that's what trainers are supposed to do. I really like this trainer because he is, getting them ready physically. Plus, he is putting some positive, euphemisms out there for them so that she will have those things to remember. And he said to her, what you went through then was meant to be in order to prepare you for right now. You guys, that is a pivotal statement. Okay, that is so true. Even in our own lives, whatever we have gone through in our past, it is meant to prepare us for whatever it is we're going through right now. And sometimes that can be a little bit, um, if you are a person who has what I think I have like extra sensories, right? About like when things are about to happen, I think that I have, you know, extra sensories. Not that I have ESP or that I can predict the future or anything like that, but there are sometimes things that happen or situations where I get a certain vibe and then something happens and I'm like, that's what that was all about. You know, I digress. Let me move on and talk to you about Real Housewives of New York. So Ramona looks really beautiful in these scenes in this episode. Her hair looks softer, her skin is softer, and I like Ramona. Ramona is a person who is repentant. She is a person who changes. If you pay attention to her over the years, remember when we used to call her Crazy Eyes, and people used to put that on the blogs and on Watch What's Happening. Uh, Andy even mentioned it to her one time or at the reunion about her crazy eyes. People no longer comment on that because she took that criticism and she worked on it. She worked on the way she, even with her facial expressions. And I don't know if she had surgery because of it, because she's had some, some upgrades. As we can see, she looks a lot softer now than she did when Real Housewives of New York came on initially. So I say this just to say that for people who say, I haven't changed a bit, or I ain't changed, or I'm not going to change, that's not a good thing, y'all. That is not good. Change normally means growth, and people don't like to change because they usually do not like to grow, or they want to grow without having to change. And I'm saying to you, if you have really good, strong value systems, you can keep those things intact. But in terms of changing and becoming better, that's a good thing. That is a good process. So participate in it. Ramona does participate in it. And it has really done wonders for her, in my humble opinion. Does she still have room for improvement? Absolutely. Absolutely. So they go into Ebony's apartment, the cameras, right? Ebony's dog's name is Carrie James. Now, this right here is some Ebony. If Ebony did not already let me know that she was a Black female, I wouldn't know it by the name of her dog. This is not something that Black people would name their dogs. Carrie James? Okay, I digress. Ebony is on the phone. She's talking to what could potentially be her half sister. She's talking to her over the phone. And you guys looking at the half sister over the phone and looking at Ebony, I would say they are definitely sisters. They have definitely some of these same features. They're talking about their dad and how neither of them are even phased by his death. They are not phased about his death at all because he didn't raise them. He was not there for them. He didn't feed them. They did not know him. They didn't have experiences with him that a daughter would have with her dad. He didn't take them to the fair and give them cotton candy. They didn't go on trips across the nation, driving from wherever to Florida or from wherever to Texas or wherever it was that they were driving on vacation back in the day, or to beach, anything, family dinners. They missed out on all of that with him. So therefore, they are not phased by his death, and I'm not mad at them. However, I love the idea that they can come together as sisters and become a family and a unit and be able to have really great experiences moving forward. And unfortunately, this happens to a lot of people. I remember one time when we were living in Atlanta, my dad called me because we never knew he had this child other than my oldest sister, outside of my mom. So he called me in Atlanta because she wanted to meet with me. She wanted to meet us. And I was open to it. It just didn't, stuff like that just did not phase me. I knew his habits. I knew the kind of man that he was. So it really did not even surprise me that I had an older sister. He had her when he was 15 or 16, right before he left and moved to New York, which is where he and my mom met in New York. So I digress on that. Um, so Ebony's from Charlotte, North Carolina, and also Mia is from Charlotte, North Carolina. So you guys give a shout out not Charlotte, they're from North Carolina. So give a shout out to North Carolina because I really like North Carolina. One of the things that I dislike about North Carolina is, and this will happen, like I moved away after college and we lived in like a couple of different places in the United States outside of North Carolina. However, whenever I moved back to North Carolina, I saw it from a whole another perspective. I always knew that racism existed in North Carolina, but whenever I had lived a little bit up north and then um, lived in LA and lived in Atlanta and then moved back to North Carolina, I saw it from a whole different perspective. And I'm not saying that racism doesn't exist all around the nation. I think that it is definitely stronger in North Carolina and against, you know, people of color. And as a result, I was not sure if I really wanted to stay, but here I am a decade later and I'm still here. And so I guess, it is now again in my life, my home. It is not a place that I would recommend though. I'm sorry, it's beautiful. I would recommend visiting it, visiting the beach, visiting the mountains, uh, sending your kids to college here, have great universities. However, in terms of other things, if you want more culture and growth, I would say someplace else. you know, I would say someplace else. Um, I digress at any rate. Okay. So they are now talking about the party. They're at the location of the party. They're doing kind of a preview of it. I think this is the preview. Yeah, this is a preview. And it is the most amazing view, you guys. Those are epic views in New York City. I wanted a picture snippet of that as well, and I couldn't. Hello, hi, you guys, come on in the room. I'm just sitting here talking. I know this was impromptu, having to drink my water. I'm gonna come. Oh, okay. So, but come on in the room. If you're here, go ahead, get in the chat, and at any rate. Um, so LuAnn talks about her and Garth and that they are broken up. Honestly, I didn't know that she was seeing anyone named Garth. Men run through LuAnn like crazy. It's to the point where I do not even see LuAnn being able to get with a man for marriage, at least not for a long-term marriage. They may marry her with the idea that, hey, I'll get in there, get all I can out of her, and leave. Because that canal has been passed through too many times, you guys. It is just, and this is my own thought process, my own opinion. That's all allegedly. I just don't understand why a woman as attractive as LuAnn would not be able to keep a man. She was married for a number of years. So that tells us she can be married. But, I digress. However, I did love LuAnn's, I don't know if that was an Oscar de la Renta or a Versace top. I liked that top that she wore. So they are singing, okay? They come in, the producers are there, and they are all of the ladies. LuAnn has brought them all together to create this musical project that is also going to go towards charity. So the first person to come in to her apartment is Ramona. And you gotta love Ramona. I just tell you, I know that people are not feeling her this season for whatever reason. I don't believe that Ramona is a racist of any sort. I don't think she is. Um, she may have some prejudices about her, but I don't think that she is racist. And I'm not even sure that she has prejudices. I think that she's just a wild thinker. Um, but Ramona is um really catching it, and she's not even sure if she's going to show up at the reunion, you guys. I hope she shows up. However, she doesn't want people to view her as being, racist, and I don't think that she is. However, I often wonder about people who cannot empathize with the fact that Black people are human, right? For example, you have people who voted for that other person, and that other person made comments that clearly showed he was for, you know, police brutality and, murdering Black people. Okay, he clearly showed that. So people who voted for him, that's what they voted for in my mind, and I'm wondering, how is it that you think that that's okay? It's not okay. It's not okay. And it's definitely not okay by the Lord in heaven. It is not okay. So if you think that that's okay and you call yourself a Christian, you're not a Christian. Let me just put it there for you, okay? Because the Bible says, do not murder. And God says there will be no murderers in the kingdom of heaven, right? So I don't know how you think that's okay. So if you say that you are a Christian and you think that's okay, let me let you know now you are not a Christian, okay? You are someone who is trying to change Christianity to fit your mind when the reality is your mind needs to change to fit Christianity. I digress on that. Anyway, Ramona comes in and she's singing. Um, However, it's funny watching her sing because she says, "You know what? I'm not the best singer, but you know what? I have good energy." And you are so right. You do have good energy. Ramon, she's a positive. She changes things to be positive. If someone tells her something negative about herself and she agrees with it, she does change it. And that's why she says positive things to herself. If you watch her from over the years, she has grown. Then Sonia comes in. Now, this is the real one with great energy, okay, and jokes and laughter and everything. She makes the producers laugh. She sings her part, okay, then she leaves. And then next, Ebony comes in. Did you all see how those two producers looked at Ebony when she walked in? It's like their mouth started watering. They saw this gorgeous woman walking in, and she did. She looked refreshed and gorgeous, and they were there for it. The funny thing is, when she got ready to sing, she was just, like, singing like she was really singing. She was not phased as in terms of whether or not she could carry a tune or not. So I liked that, okay? Then we have Leah. Leah comes in, and Leah is really ambivalent. You could see the look on her face because she had previously had the discussion with LuAnn about the musical, right? When LuAnn first talked to her about it, and she seemed to have asked LuAnn a question that LuAnn did not directly answer, and Ebony did not bring it up again. However, you could see the look on her face at that time that she was still concerned about it. Therefore, fast forward whenever the time comes for her to go to LuAnn's apartment and sing the song, when she walks in, she kind of has that same face that she ended with in their last conversation. And so she's ambivalent mainly because she's a businesswoman and she understands and she asks all the important questions. And I really think that when she tried to bring it up to LuAnn, that she felt dismissed. So that's why she had determined in her mind that she would ask it again. And that's what she did. She asked the producer. And this happens to me sometimes. I'll ask someone a question, and sometimes it's a hard question. You might not want to ask it, but you need an answer. And the person slightly answers you. So you go away, you don't want to like push it home too hard, right? You walk away and you still feel dissatisfied. And in your head, you're like, I've got to get the answer to this. So the next time you see the person, you ask them directly and you spill the beans. And that's kind of what happened with Leah. So um, LuAnn doesn't like that part of Leah because they're trying to produce this project. The producers tell her that it's owned by the three of them and so on and so forth. And, you know, uh, notice who they didn't invite, though, to sing in this special. Bershan. Okay? Bershan Shaw did not get invited to sing in the musical. So I think Bershan is actually, she's not a housewife. She's more of a friend of the show, I think. And I was reading about her, and Bershan is actually also a, what do you call it? A motivational speaker. So she's a motivational speaker, yet in the last scene or 2 scenes ago, 2 episodes ago, she called all the women grandmas. Now, how motivational is that? It motivated them to, you know, want to get her told. So, at the night of the party, they show the women already there, some of them, and Brashan is really trying too hard. She's trying too hard to intervene in the conversations. And at one point, when she is talking to Sonia and Sonia's talking to someone else at the party, another male at the party, Bershawn is making some comments. And Sonia just, in her Sonia kind of way, turns to her and says, honestly, I wasn't sure I wanted to see you tonight. She says that to Bershawn. 'Cause she's they remember how she made them feel the first time she met them, and although I did not agree with Rashawn doing that because it was her first time meeting the women, she should have kind of warmed up to them. I At the same time, I think that they went harder than they should have gone, especially with Leah getting up, walking out. I didn't agree with that, but I digress. That was at the 2 episodes ago. At this party of Ramona's that LuAnn is throwing for Ramona, Leah says that she has to extend grace to Bershan because she was once forgiven after almost setting Ramona's backyard on fire in the Hamptons. And I didn't like Leah. That was last season, actually. And I didn't really care for Leah last season because I didn't see her as housewives material. I just didn't. And so this season, I like her. So that's kind of odd because last season, the audience loved her and I disliked her. And this season, the audience hates her and I like her this season. So that happens with me sometimes. There's this male model there with beautiful hair. I don't know his name, but he's gorgeous. And I've seen him in advertisements. And Leah and Eboni are having a very graphic conversation about this male model. And they describe him with Ebony anyway, describes the flaccidity of it all and the chubbiness of it all. And I don't know, I've never heard, that thing be described as chubby. So I don't know what she meant by that. But she said it was really nice. Okay. Her and Leah, they were just hilarious. I was like, okay, that's too funny. There were all kinds of men at Ramona's party. I guess this was one of her requests. And I do have to apologize to those who are into male strippers. I'm not into male strippers. I don't want you swinging your behind in my face. I don't want you swinging any of your private parts in my face either. I've never been to a male stripper anything, and I have no desire to go. I just would not want to go. I don't see it as fun. I just think that it's something that is completely out of what I want to do and with the space that's been given to me in this life. Um, they show a scene of Leah riding the private parts of one of the strippers, which I thought was quite disgraceful. She was really riding the D on this guy. And I mean, really riding it, okay? Even though they had clothes on. I cannot see how she did not become orgasmic and feel anything the way that they were doing, and I cannot believe Bravo showed that. It was like she was having sex on television. I shouldn't have said that word. It was like she was having, the S word on television. I don't think you can say that here on YouTube, so forgive me, you guys. Um, at any rate, I just thought that you have she's a businesswoman there in New York, and now whenever especially her male customers, when they see her, or even if she has business partners, when they see her, they're going to think of her in a different light. For those, if they've watched the show, and I'm sure a lot of them may know she's on the show, so they're going to see her in a different light. Even if they're looking at her smiling doing a business deal, they're going to see her in a different light. Anyone who saw that scene and paid close attention to it, and the scene was there for a few seconds, okay? Her daughter, her parents. So that part of Leah, I don't like because it looks ho-ish, for lack of a better word. It looks harlotish-ish. Harlotish. Okay. So at this same party, Ebony is over in aside talking to Ramona and Leah about this party she's about to give, and she's about to invite them to the party. Well, the thing she doesn't know is that Bershan is on her way to that very scene, and she says to them, "I want to invite you both," and then Bershan walks up. When Bershan walks up, they disband, and they are kind of snickering and laughing because of the way that she presented herself early on when she met them. Now they would not have been doing all of that laughing, and they would not have divided up that way had Rashawn presented herself differently on set whenever she met them. But she did not do that, and so this is why they are behaving the way that they are. But Ebony, they come back together. And Ebony says, "Listen, I want to invite all of you all over to Black-Shabbat." Now, I've never heard of a Black-Shabbat. You know, uh, um, uh, my culture, and I'm in my 50s, so I think I can speak to us. Okay, there are enough events and terms and things out there about us that we don't need to be having a Black-Shabbat. Okay, we don't need to be having that, Ebony. Ebony, you're creating more things that do not need to be celebrated. Okay. Uh, this Juneteenth celebration that we just had, I was not down with that because it was not celebrated appropriately for what Juneteenth was meant to be. It was a bunch of people in the street dancing and acting crazy and parading around, and those people didn't even know their history. And I would listen to them on the news, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? You have no idea why you are even having this event, do you? You just want to party and dance and parade up and down the street." That is not how I would have celebrated that. So I just didn't celebrate it because I'm like, I'm tired of all of these celebrations of Black people that are not befitting to the cause. And so now we have Ebony creating a Black-Shabbat. Uh, Don't do that, Ebony. But anyway, uh, she goes on to say she's having it. And Ramona and Sonia, of course, want to know, okay, what's going on? What is it? And when she describes it to them and lets them know that, it's for Black people, but it's a Jewish celebration that she's having with her Black friends. And no one Jewish is going to be there. It's just going to be her Black friends that she experienced the Jewish community with. I said, you know what, Ebony has gone overboard. Someone please save Ebony, okay? I I can't with this. Ramona goes, "Well, I don't get it. Why don't you just say I'm having some people over?" And then Sonia says, "Hey, why don't you just say, 'Hey baby, I'm having a party?' Why does it have to be a Black Shabbat?" Who's ever heard of a Black Shabbat? The scene was funny to me, you guys. All of the conversations surrounding the Black Shabbat, it was just very funny to me. So, she turns and lets Bershan know why she can't invite her. Uh, because she says to Bershan, well, it's a limited party. Um, it's a limited party with Black people that I experience the Jewish community with. I was like, okay, that is too hilarious. It was just, I know she doesn't want Bershan at the party, but that was kind of rude. Invite her to the party. I think Ebony wants to be the only Black girl. I don't understand this mentality. I did experience it a few years ago, back in 2017. I was working with an employer, and when I came on to the company, there was one Black guy on our team and there was one Black girl. And when I came onto the team, I was the other Black girl. So the Black girl who was there prior to me started to compete against me for the attention of the white women on the team. And I was like, and it was clear that that's what she was doing. And I was like, girl, no one cares about that. Had she any idea that I could care less? But sometimes people think that you are thinking what they're thinking in their head, and I'm not. I'm not thinking of what you're thinking in your head. So, to her demise, she was fighting so hard for her position that she already had before I even got to the company that she lost her job. So I digress about that. Um, but I think that Ebony is that girl. Ebony is the one Black girl. She wants to be the only Black girl on the Real Housewives of New York. She wants to be the token. So instead of her welcoming Bershan and understanding that New York is diverse, she is battling against her. Okay, because she thinks that the Real Housewives of New York is a white thing, and it's not, because New York is a very diverse city. In fact, they need some Spanish and Latino or Portuguese women on that show, wealthy Portuguese women, and a Jewish woman. New York has a lot of Jewish people, you know? So the show just needs to be a lot more diverse than it is. I think Ramona might be Jewish, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe I shouldn't say that. So, and there's a whole write-up, you guys, about Ebony and how she did Bashan. The people are not happy with her, and she's just saying, well, wait till the reunion. Well, why do we have to wait till the reunion? We want to know now. Why did you diss this young woman from your party? Um, so LuAnn and Leah get into it about the song again because Leah wants the legalities of the song worked out. Leah says that she's just protecting herself legally. And LuAnn is like, well, lawyer up, baby. And so I get Leah on this one. What I don't understand is why LuAnn is so offended by it. So that's how that goes. Now, oh no, the other part to that is Leah starts to bring up how LuAnn used Sonia and never paid her. So she brings that up. So that part of Leah I like. Her uh I like her lack of fear to say what she needs to say to these women who can sometimes be quite intimidating, as Bershan has seen. Okay, so they take the cake over to Ramona. Ramona and Leah had already had an argument as well because Ramona intervened in the LuAnn saga about the lawyer. And so now she doesn't know if she wants Leah to have anything to do with her cake, but she gets over it real quick because she does take a big old bite. And the cake in, um, very Leah style is with the private parts of a female and a male. A cake of the private parts of a female and a male. Very Leah-ish, okay? She's sickening with that. She's really sickening. I'm like, get over yourself, girl. At any rate, at the end of the night, the cameras are so shady because they go over and show LuAnn getting the number to one of the males who attended the party because she wants him to come to her place later. She's going to text him. And it appeared to be a scene that was trying to be secretive, with LuAnn, I mean, not LuAnn, but Ramona. With Ramona and the man, it was supposed to be a secret, but the cameras caught it. So that's another whole deal. And that was it. Real Housewives of New York, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed it. And I'm going to come on again with Love and Marriage Huntsville. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I'm trying some different things with StreamYard because I am about to upgrade. So as you can see, I have uh, my little thing going across the bottom about the copyright and things like that, and the name of my channel, Vlog Media Breeze, and my slogan, Journalism in a Vlog. And then the other part has to do with the copyright part of it. Okay. So that's it, guys. And I know this was a choppy story. I need to smooth things out and probably practice a little more before I come on. But this is work. It's good work. I would love to be able to do it all day because I really like coming on here and creating this production. I see why people love it. So, and but that's not what I do. I do have to work during the day, uh, which that may not be lasting long either from the way that they're going. They are such liars, this job. So I'll let you know when I create my other channel because I'm going to talk crap about the company. I'll give you the name of the company whenever I get onto my other channel. I'm going to put it on the because I've already set it up, but I'll put the name of the channel on this description later on, probably sometime this weekend. Okay. So, as always, you guys have many blessings and thank you very much for joining me. And bye bye. See you in the next one.